rehash your Kentucky Derby pick, Greg?
No, let's talk about yours. The big
that's
man.
right.
Yeah,
that's right.
I believe it was. I believe you did have Justify. I believe I did not. So there's a couple of questions about the non-conference schedule. That always seems to be the popular question when we
future
get
or
into
current?
Future. You know, there's always questions about currently on. We're looking at. Will Penn State ever get the SEC back on their schedule? What about Miami? Auburn is on the non-conference schedule. That's not too terribly far away. It's probably further away than most would like, but it is on the schedule. I think a lot of people forget about that, and why wouldn't they? Because it's like 5 years down the road. But I do think that it's a fair question. But non-conference scheduling, Bob, we've heard Sandy Barber talk about it at length. James Franklin's talked about it at length. When you play 9 conference games, and you don't know exactly how the selection committee values non-conference games. Look at Washington, for example, getting in with that non-conference schedule. If you don't have to play tough games, why would you?
Yeah. I think one attractive game is fine. I think they have Virginia Tech coming up on the schedule at some point in the next couple of years. But you're right.
West Virginia.
A lot of Big Ten scheduled games. Plus, then you got to play the Big Ten title game. So the Big Ten schedule really kind of takes care, I think, of the scheduling difficulty itself. They play Pittsburgh this year on the road, and I just don't know when that series resumed. I thought it might be a little bit more anticipated than it actually has been through 2 games, and I don't know if the fan base is very excited about going out to Heinz Field this year, because I don't know how good Pittsburgh's going to be. But yeah, I mean, it's you look at Michigan's playing Notre Dame this year. Ohio State almost always plays a thumper in their non-conference schedule, and I think Penn State's trying to do what they can. But I mean, they got to play all those teams anyway, and I just think that you just have to be patient and wait for some of these good games to come up, like the Auburn game and the Virginia Tech game and the West Virginia game. So we'll see, but I wouldn't be too upset with Penn State about their non-conference schedule.
All right, we have one on YouTube, youtube.com/all-Penn-State. Trap games, they're always road games, Joe asked, and he's saying, looking to 2018 schedule, who's the trap game for you? His pick is Indiana. My pick is Illinois. What do you think?
Yeah. Boy, Illinois has a lot of work to do. I mean,
so my problem is this: first Friday night game. Penn State's never done it before.
Sure.
It's the week before Ohio State, so you have the look-ahead spot, and you're 2 weeks removed from Pitt, which, I mean, I don't know how big of a deal that is, but I mean, not that you'll be beat up after a week against Kent State, but the Pitt game figures to be, a pretty all-out affair. So I just think it's a weird spot, a Friday night game, and then you're looking ahead knowing you have a little bit of extra downtime before Ohio State, not to mention the fact that you're looking ahead to Ohio State in a whiteout. Not that Penn State will lose. Illinois is really bad. I looked at their roster for a while. I mean, and Lovie Smith, I'm not sure if he's just collecting a paycheck or what, but look, they're bad, but the spot, I mean, if you're ever looking for a game where Penn State could only be up like 10-6 at the half and then blow them out in the second half, that could be it.
Yeah, I think I'd lean more towards Indiana, only because the last couple times Penn State's went out there, it took a 92-yard run by Bill Belton. That was a 13-7 game, and even in the 2016, the year they won the Big Ten title, they were losing in the fourth quarter.
Right.
He does know how to kind of
they haven't had too many issues with that.
Yeah, the coach is pretty good defensively. I know they had 45, but they kind of shut down Saquon Barkley last year. They have a quarterback, I think his name is Peyton Ramsey, who's not bad. They did lose some players.
Is Sandra Diamont still there? I feel like he was there for the better part of 10 years. Yeah.
I do think Penn State has a lot of their toughest games at home this year. So if you're going to go with a trap game that's on the road, it's because Michigan clearly is not a trap game. That's just a tough team they're going to play.
Right.
I think right now I would vote for Indiana, but I'm just not sure how big of a scare that'll be. I don't think Penn State's going to be too worried about Illinois.
All right, last one. Where should, not where is, Penn State be ranked going into the season? At this point, that comes from Wes on Facebook. At this point, I've seen them anywhere from, I believe Stuart Mandel of The Athletic had them as low as 16. I've seen some other rankings have them as high as 5 or 6.
Yeah.
What do you think?
A lot of losses. They lost Barkley. They lost 8 starters on defense. Deshaun Hamilton, Mike Gesicki. I had them slightly outside the top 10. I think 11 or 12 is probably fair, and I think that's their schedule is such that they can kind of creep up. They beat Ohio State. They're going to be in the top 4, top 3, but they still the rest of the schedule is challenging. I think this is I think this is their toughest schedule since James has been there.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, the fact that you have Wisconsin on the crossover pretty much takes care of that fact. Yeah, anywhere between 8 and 12 would be fair to me. The one thing about top 25s is they're often made with, and people just throw the losses out the window for whatever reason and just use the back class. Now, it's hard to do that it's hard to not be aware of Saquon Barkley and Mike Gesicki and some of the guys on defense when you're doing that. So I think that will drop them a bit. I could live with anywhere 8 to 12. I think that's fair. And you know what? Even 16 was, like I said, that Stuart Mandel had. I can get that too. It's all depending on how you grade the losses versus what you think the replacements can do. And there's plenty of question marks at a few key spots.
All right.